Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to go over how to draw Godzilla and Shin Godzilla as one character. Okay, it's going to be relatively simple. Let's get started. Alright, let's go over this mixture of Godzilla and Shin Godzilla. We're doing Legendary Godzilla as our normal Godzilla, right? I know there's a difference, but let's start, okay? I'm going to show you how to do it. So right now we're going to go over here and we're going to draw a line down for the front of Godzilla's face. And we can call him Legendary Godzilla because that's what he's called for this video. So Legendary, and then there's Shin. Legendary is the new one in the recent movies, the recent American movies. Curve over here back. So you're going to notice there's a very square, like boxy look that the current, that Legendary Godzilla has. So kind of notice that. Line up over here. And he's got a really low forehead. When you look at something like Shin Godzilla, right, he's got like more of a hamburger head. It's more round. Kind of reminds me more of the silhouette of the really old classic Godzilla from the 50s. I would say he looks more like that. But a totally different shape of the face. Okay, we're going to go over here. Let's see. Line back right there. And we're going to extend the line a little bit, and we're going to go out right here. And then curve line down. We're going to have the mouth open. So something to kind of remember. I'm going to throw a little bit of longer teeth on him because that's like Shin Godzilla. They're thin, kind of like piranha teeth kind of thing, where, the other version of, where Legendary Godzilla is more of like a more traditional animal, more traditional, like, I don't know, tiger teeth or something like that. I'm not really sure, but a little bit more traditional. Back over here, angle up for the back of the jaw. Let's go right here, draw those needle-like teeth. Already right off the bat, that looks different. Then Legendary. Line over here, up, back, curve line here, and line over there for the eye. That's more Legendary. Nasal cavity at the front, line underneath the neck, and if we pull down over here, there, the neck's gonna get bigger as it goes down, right? The neck gets bigger downward. Down right here. Line across. And around that area. Back over here, like I said, gets much bigger. We're gonna kind of drag this almost off the page right there. All right. Don't forget, there is a cool free guide on how to draw Godzilla's head. 100% free in the description. Go check it out. It's probably the best thing I've done. Right here in the front, draw like a spike area. I forgot about that. Draw a spike, because that's kind of what Shin Godzilla has in the chest. His ribcage kind of comes up in a kind of a spike that way. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Downward. All right, let's draw a line right here for the arm. Line right here for the arm. It's going to be a lot more like Legendary Godzilla's arm. Sorry if I'm confusing you, by the way, but this is really Godzilla heavy. Forgive me. Line over here for the arm. So if you look at like Shin Godzilla's pose, his hands, he always poses his hands up. Like no, that kind of thing. And then the other Godzilla is more like, more relaxed, more chill about it. So we're going to pose it the way Shin has it. But, well, not as creepy of hands, because the other hands look like more tiny and more, but this is going to be a little bit more like, Legendary Godzilla's hands right there. They go, like they're thick, they're regularly thick arms. The other ones are kind of burnt up like gangly arms. Down right here, and it's gonna go kind of off the page. Okay, it's doing good so far. Line over here for the cheekbone, curve right there for the ear area. Line right here for kind of a vein that comes off there, and then what we're gonna do this time is we're gonna pull this open kind of vein thing that Shin has. So we're incorporating to this version of Godzilla. Line across, line across. All right. Another thing about him, we're going to put, well, we'll do that afterward. Let's start with the spikes right here. The spikes are similar. They're a lot more flowery on Shin, but we gotta add a little bit more from, or, you know, from, actually, yeah, we're going to do more flowery, actually, since, there we go, like that. See, it looks like a bunch of ninja stars, and it's going to get bigger. Where, you know, Legendary Godzilla, you know, from the new, you know, American movies, it's a little bit more like mountains. They look like the spikes on his back. But right here, we're gonna take the Shin because his body shape is so much like the American Godzilla there. Oopsie daisy. And I gotta get more features from Shin in here. Okay, so from this point on, we're going to put in what Shin Godzilla is really good at, and that is texture all over the place. So line right here, like along the ridge of the chest, maybe just thin lines, like so. Line right here, you know, like there's texture on both, but again, Shin looks more like he's a burnt up like zombie. That's kind of what he reminds me of. So I'm drawing these little thin lines, and if you draw these, it's just a detail, right? You want to draw thin, because if you don't draw thin, let's put some dark underneath his neck here. If you don't draw thin, see, we're drawing these little thin, see these thin lines, they look all craggly. You want them to look craggly and not so much like scales, right? Because he looks more like a burnt up thing, at least Shin does. You want to draw these thin lines where scales would be different, right? But see this? And you want to pepper it around, but you don't want to overdo it. Like, you could overdo it and it might be fine, but just for the purposes of these drawings, you know, like these demonstrations and these how-tos, you know, I don't want to overdo it, right? So maybe something like this, and you want to follow the flow of the body and stuff like that, the rib cage. And again, these are thin, almost looks like hair in a way, could, but no, this is a burnt up zombie like, you know, thing we're doing here. I'm gonna put a shadow here, like a darker shadow, because what I think it does is it kind of grounds the drawing in general with these two darks. Let's go over here now. Like, what would this be over here? Line, 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 and line, line, line right here. Same thing right there. We're drawing these little thin areas, and that's pretty much it. I want you to stick around, and we're going to do another drawing lesson together, okay? We can keep adding to that if you want, but I think that's good enough for the demonstration. Let's draw a little bit dark back here, though, so you can see kind of the back side of that open mouth. There we go. It makes it look a little bit more dimensional when you do that. So stick around. Let's do another drawing lesson together, and let's get started. Okay, so that was amazing. You finished this lesson, but keep it going. Keep the art practice going by clicking this video right here. It's going to be within the same theme, and you want to keep it rolling to get better and better and better and get that art flow going. So click right here.